Right now, as you're watching this, your body is running on hardware that evolution never finished updating. Your spine is a bridge forced to be a tower. Your throat is a two-lane road where food and air share the same lane. And there's a nerve in your neck that takes a detour so absurd, it loops around your heart for no reason. These aren't metaphors. These are engineering failures you're living with right now, and they all exist for the same reason. The rules. First, one thing you need to understand. Evolution is not an engineer. An engineer starts with a blueprint, builds from scratch, optimizes. Evolution can't do that. It can only modify what already exists. So every failure you're about to see isn't really a failure, it's a trade-off, a compromise that was good enough to keep your ancestors alive. It's more like inheriting a house that's been renovated 300,000 times by 300,000 different owners who never talk to each other. Some walls are load-bearing for no reason. Some rooms lead nowhere, and tearing anything out might collapse the whole structure. That's your body, the spine. Let's start with the thing 80% of adults will experience in their lifetime. Back pain. And it's not random, it's structural. For roughly 300 million years, our vertebrate ancestors walked on 4 legs. Their spines worked like suspension bridges. Weight distributed horizontally, supported at both ends. Then, around 6 million years ago, our hominin ancestors began standing upright. Evolution didn't build a new spine. It bent the old one. The human spine has 2 forward curves, cervical and lumbar lordosis, and 2 backward curves, thoracic and sacral kyphosis. This S shape keeps your center of gravity over your hips so you can walk on 2 legs, but it concentrates enormous pressure on the lower lumbar vertebrae, L4, L5, and the sacrum. These are the same discs that herniate, degenerate, and cause chronic pain in millions of people. A 2020 study in The Lancet found that low back pain is the single leading cause of disability worldwide. Not because something went wrong, because this is exactly how the system was built. A bridge forced to be a tower. And your spine isn't the only repurposed system in your body, the throat. Every time you swallow, you're performing a precision maneuver. Your throat has 2 openings that sit dangerously close together, the trachea for air and the esophagus for food. They share a common space, the pharynx. Every time food passes through, a small flap called the epiglottis must close over the trachea at exactly the right moment. If the timing is off by a fraction of a second, food enters the airway. Choking is consistently ranked among the top 5 causes of unintentional injury death in the United States, according to the National Safety Council. So, why would evolution build something this risky? Because it didn't build it, it inherited it. In fish, the pathways for water and food are already partially shared. As our ancestors moved onto land and developed lungs, the system was modified, not redesigned. And then, something else happened. The human larynx descended lower in the throat compared to other primates. This created a larger pharyngeal space, which gave us an expanded range of vowel sounds. Combined with neural changes, the FOXP2 gene, Broca's area, Wernicke's area, and fine motor control of the tongue and diaphragm, this anatomy helped enable complex speech, the ability to communicate abstract ideas, to teach, to build civilization. But the trade-off? You can choke on your dinner. Evolution didn't prioritize safety, it prioritized communication. The nerve that makes no sense. Now, here's one most people have never heard of. And it might be the single best piece of evidence that evolution doesn't plan ahead. the recurrent laryngeal nerve. This nerve connects your brain to your larynx, your voice box. The distance, about 15 centimeters. The path the nerve actually takes, it goes from your brain, down into your chest, loops under your aortic arch near the heart, and then travels all the way back up to the larynx. In humans, this detour adds up to 60 centimeters of unnecessary nerve length. In a giraffe, that same nerve takes a detour of up to 4.6 meters. Brain to larynx, maybe 20 centimeters in a straight line. Actual path, down the entire neck, around the aorta, back up the entire neck. Why? Because in fish, where this nerve originated, it took a direct route past the gill arches. As necks evolved and lengthened in terrestrial vertebrates, the nerve got trapped under the aortic arch and was dragged down with it. Evolution couldn't reroute it. It can only modify existing structures incrementally. So the nerve just kept getting longer. For 375 million years. There's no functional advantage to this path, only a historical one. And that's the difference between engineering and evolution. Stone Age brain in a modern world. Your body has one more problem, and this one you feel every single day. Your brain is running survival software that's roughly 300,000 years old, in a world that changed faster than evolution could follow. For most of human history, hundreds of thousands of years, calories were scarce and unpredictable. Finding dense sources of energy, sugar, fat, salt, was a survival advantage. Your brain evolved powerful reward circuits around these foods. Dopamine release, craving, motivation to seek more. This made sense when the next meal wasn't guaranteed. But the modern world flipped the equation. Now, those same neural pathways meet unlimited supply. Processed food engineered to trigger maximum reward response. Available 24 hours a day, within arm's reach. The biology hasn't changed, the environment has. And that mismatch between ancient reward systems and modern abundance is at the root of what researchers call evolutionary mismatch. It doesn't mean you lack willpower. It means you're fighting hardware that was optimized for a world that no longer exists. The Obstetric compromise. But the biggest evolutionary compromise happens before you even take your first breath. Human childbirth is one of the most mechanically complex in the entire primate order, and among the most dangerous for any large-brained mammal. And the reason is a collision between two of our greatest adaptations. Adaptation 1, bipedalism. Walking on two legs reshaped the pelvis. The birth canal became narrower and more curved compared to our quadruped ancestors. Adaptation 2, big brains. Human brains roughly tripled in size over the last 3 million years, which meant bigger skulls at birth. These two pressures created what scientists call the obstetric dilemma, a term introduced by Sherwood Washburn in 1960. During birth, a human baby must rotate multiple times through a tight, curved canal. The skull bones are even unfused at birth, the fontanelles, specifically to allow the head to compress and flex during delivery. Almost no other primate birth requires this level of mechanical complexity. Now, recent research has added nuance to this picture. In 2012, Holly Dunsworth and colleagues proposed an alternative called the EGG hypothesis, energetics, gestation, and growth. They argued that the timing of birth isn't just about pelvic size, it's also about the metabolic limit of the mother. The baby is born when the mother's body can no longer sustain the energy cost of pregnancy, regardless of head size. The truth is likely a combination of both. anatomy and energy working together to create one of the most complex birth processes in nature. Not a flaw. A collision of two evolutionary advantages, with consequences we still manage today. When you look at all of this, it's tempting to call the human body badly designed, but that misses the point. These aren't flaws, they're receipts. Every compromise in your body is a record of a problem that was solved just well enough to keep you alive. Your spine is proof that your ancestors stood up. Your throat is proof that they learned to speak. Your nerve is proof that they once breathed through gills. Your cravings are proof that they survived famine. And the difficulty of birth is proof that they grew the most complex brain on the planet. You're not a finished product. You're a prototype that's been in development for 3.8 billion years, and the testing is still ongoing. If you could fix one thing about the human body right now, what would it be? Your back? Your throat? That nerve that takes a 4.6-meter detour in a giraffe? Tell me in the comments.